Welcome back, Commanders. Today I'm going to take a look at the longevity of this game and why it feels like so many players quit, alliances fail, servers have insurrections, why so many people just seem to get frustrated and walk away from this game. And a lot of it has to do with the nature of the game, but this is what we have and what we're up against. Last War is a pay-to-win game. It doesn't matter how much time you put in. It doesn't matter how skilled you are. This game is straight up pay-to-win. You can put in 1,000 hours, and I could put in 1 hour. And if I've spent $1,000, I am still going to probably be 10 times ahead of you. That is just the nature of this game. And in doing that, the other thing that you'll have from that is you're going to have there's going to be a lot of resentment that's built up from this game. Way more than when you're playing World of Warcraft or when you're playing League of Legends or when you're playing any other type of game that looks at or accepts skill as being the exception to the rule. You know, that's the whole idea is that in those games, if you put in the time and you put in the effort and you put in the studying, you're paying $15 a month for a subscription just like everybody else. And you get in there and you can be the best player in the world and be broke as anything, playing on an old computer or anything else. There's nothing that can stop you. Your ceiling is based on your time and your experience. And so in games like WoW, League of Legends, or any of these others, when somebody says you're a really good player, it's because of the amount of time and skill and effort that you put into it. I always laugh when somebody says, wow, you're a really good player while you're playing Last War. There's nothing about being a good player in Last War. It is really just how much money are you willing to spend to beat somebody or to be that much better. And so this causes an automatic gap in what people are used to in being in a game. Usually in a game or a game that has teams or games that have mechanics or competition, it really is based on the amount of time that you put in and your skill set. And that just makes you stand out. Okay. In Last War, that is just absolutely not the case. And so what happens in this, or with this dynamic that you have, is you have people that are used to the idea that because they have more skill or because they're better than others in playing a game, then they should be able to tell others what to do or how to play or what to look at. The cross-reference to that is when you have other players who are putting a lot of money into this game and other people do not match them with that, yet they're being told what to do, or they're being told like things like, oh, you're breaking the server, you're letting the server down, or you're ruining the game for everybody. That becomes very tiresome for people who put money into the game. It's just, everybody should be allowed to play the game they want to do. And so you will get these people who have put 30, 40, let's go $10,000 through $50,000, even more into the game. And they will just walk away from the game because of that frustration. Because of the frustration that they have put in the I don't want to say time and effort again, but they have put in the time to do this. They have decided to spend their discretionary income and put it in there. And yet they will be yelled at by somebody who maybe has put $5 in there and they brag about putting $5 in there. And then they complain about whales, or they complain about people who put money in. And then when they lose a server war, it's the same thing where it's like, well, these whales should have saved us. Well, they should have done. And it gets really, really old really quick. So this is something that is inherent in these pay to win games. If you're not surrounding yourself with like-minded people, you're going to have huge problems. You're going to have people quitting. You're going to have people leaving the game. And I don't think that really matters to the developers, because the developers have already received an incredible amount of money from these people. They don't need to keep them around. They just need them around long enough to collect 5 digits from them and be out. And for some, it's going to be even more. So if you take a look at some of the ways that the game plays, or if you take a look at just the idea of a pay-to-win game, when you're mixing people in there that don't pay money, and those are the people that are the loudest and the most angry all the time, then you run off the people that do pay money. You run off the people that choose to pay money, that choose to play the game in a certain way. And when you are telling those people what to do, when you have like a level 22 who has put zero money into the game, yelling at somebody who might have $20,000 into the game and telling them what they're supposed to do, that becomes a huge problem, because not only does the 22 not put money into a pay-to-win game that they expect to then win, but they also can't do anything against this 30. The way that this game works is not the idea that if you have a 1 million strength character going up against a 2 million strength character, therefore I just need a second 1 million character and now we're even. That's not it. It's not 2 million versus 2 million, you're good to go. If I have a 2 million power character and you bring up 5 characters that are 1 million apiece, I will probably still beat all 5 of you, because it's a round robin attack system, which means that I could probably destroy your army before you even hurt any of my troops, because it's just the way that the game works, the mechanics work. And so when you have that kind of power dynamic separated by a paywall, and you're putting people in to an environment that has, I mean, this is just like 1/100th of it, but it has thousands upon thousands of people that are in it. And most of these people don't exist. Most of these people probably just play for a week and get out. But this is how many people come in and come through. And so I think I saw just the other day that the 13,500th person entered the arena, which means that they have to get to a certain strength level and, level. So I don't even think that I think that we're probably twice as many little dots as that in this map. I mean, this is the preseason map right here. And if you go and look at the outskirts of this map, you're going to see that they are pretty packed in with dots. Now, it gets a little skinnier as you go in here. There are vacant spots, but like, this is tens of thousands of people that have been in on this server. So you have to really think, like, that's an incredible amount of people that come through. And even if everybody only spent $5, I mean, you're doing great. As a game developer, you're just laughing your way to the bank. But as a player, what you then have to find or decide is, when you're fighting or when you're deciding if you're going to dedicate yourself to a game or not, how far are you willing to go financially into a game to win? And are you then willing to accept other people who have not made that same financial sacrifice as you and listen to them? Because for somebody who's put a lot of money into the game, it's really hard to be talked to or talked down by or talked down to somebody who has not made that same decision, who is able to just kind of ride along and have a good time and laugh and just play, and then they get really mad that they don't get the same bonuses or power that you do. Not realizing, again, just how hard it is to keep up or compete at this high of a level. And when I say this high of a level, it is not a skill level, it's a financial level. If I want to go up against somebody like Justice, or if I want to go up against somebody like Eunhee, I don't stand a chance. And there is there's over 50,000 put into this account. All right. If you take a look at the account, the way you can do these numbers, and because hardly anybody uses diamonds, is if you can ask somebody to see their VIP level, that will open up your eyes very quickly at where people are. So to become a VIP 16, you need to have 5,161,000, or I'm sorry, you really need 5 million VIP points to get in here. A VIP point is what you get when you go and you purchase items in the game, things from diamonds or anything else. So if I go in here and I am going to purchase this daily progression pack, I will get 500 VIP points. Okay. If I spend, and this just goes up the line. There's nothing hard to figure out. There's no anything to figure out. There's no math on this. If I spend $100, okay, I get 10,000 points. So every 10,000 points is $1. Or I'm sorry, every 10,000 VIP points is $100. Now, some people will be like, oh, you can buy VIP points. You can do this. You can do that. Most of the people who are whales, they don't even look at that. So if you go and you look at somebody's VIP numbers, and if they are a VIP 16, that means that it took $50,000 worth of money or material to get to this point. That's just what that means. And if you see somebody that is a VIP 17, okay, that takes 200,000 to hit that point. Now, if you see a VIP 18, that is 500,000. So those people that have the unique bases that are there, that's $500,000. Now, let me show you what $50,000 will get you in this game. Okay, I want you to have this understanding. $50,000 puts you really far ahead of people, but it doesn't put you as far ahead as you would think, because again, what you'll then go up against are people who are aggressive whales and want to just sink you to show off, or that's just what they want to do. And I can't fault them for it. You know, that's everybody gets to play the game that they want to play. So if I come in here and I want to go up against somebody like, we'll take a look at Justice, because we just fought Justice yesterday in what he was doing. And so I do have some of his battle reports. Now, to be Justice, or to even get to his point, he's well over the 100,000 mark. He has to be. And I can only speculate, but if you take a look at what he's done and what he's bought to get to where he's at, he is probably somebody that's put in $100,000. So do you think that somebody who has put in that much money really enjoys being talked down to or being told that, you know, he needs to play a certain way or do something when somebody might have $20 in the game? It causes huge stressors for people, and people get so mad and so irate that they'll walk away from that. People can be harassed out of it because of how upset they get from that. So let's go here. Here we go. We've got Justice, and this isn't even his most powerful squad, but this is something that he's coming in with. So, you know, to buy, if you are trying to buy shards, okay, usually the idea of a shard is there, and depending upon if you get them on sales or not, shards come out to about $1 a piece. Okay. If you get them through deals or something like that, they'll start off at 50 cents a piece, but they quickly go up to $1 very fast. And so if you're trying to get somebody to a level 5 with those, if you're trying to get them to a 5-star, to get that last star, it takes 500 shards. So if somebody's rushing to get there, just to get that last star is $500 a piece. Okay. Again, you can get it through or save up and get there. But for the people that are really rushing, just to get that last star is about 500 a piece. The other thing that people will spend their money on are things like this Wall of Honor for decorations. Decorations add up. If you are building up something like your Wall of Honor, let's go ahead and come down here. Each Wall of Honor, each decoration that you purchase is averages out to about $10 per decoration. Now, again, you can win these in boxes. You can get them through trains or anything else. But again, most people that really mean business will go and put their money in as soon as deco boxes open, or they can get high-end deco boxes. That's where they're going to go, and that's what they're going to buy. And so they do add a ton of strength when you're fighting. And this doesn't show the amount of boxes that you have. This just shows like your highest one in its level, where you're at. But to have a power of 2.8 million just off of decorations means you've got to be hundreds. You have had to have purchased hundreds of decos. So there could be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 just in decorations. That's not including anything else. That's just decorations. To level up things like your units in tech, to get that speed, to get everything that is there. The morale boosts, all that, thousands of dollars. Now, when you come down here and you are starting to look at the Wall of Honor. Now, mind you, 1148 is 3 servers younger than we are. Or I'm sorry, 3 servers younger than we are. So they've been here even less time than us. To get your tank to a 490 level of honor, okay, in your Wall of Honor, that takes 4,900 shards. All right, go ahead and do the math on that. That's 4,900 shards to get to that point. And to get your air is another 4,150 shards. Missiles, which he apparently doesn't care about, is at 74. So that's, extra there. His alliance tech bonus, okay, of the 98.3K that adds the hero attack defense. To get to that is through your alliance tech. If you take a look at your alliance tech, that means on the war, they've probably finished most of the development, gotten through there, headed over to war. That means that you are running down through here, through the rallied attacks, defenses, and you're looking at different garrison attacks for your percentages. If you have tried to level up alliance tech with your own alliance, you will know trying to get these things up to 1010 is a battle. So that means that they are putting in thousands of dollars of diamonds to get to this point. And so again, when you've created a system that has separated the haves and the have-nots by so much, and yet you expect cohesiveness within that, it's very frustrating. Like my example is I have told our server what our goals are for season 1. And while we do not have a very high number for our alliance number, we do have 2 of the strongest members or 2 of the strongest people on the server for this. We are only at 788,000, but at 3 of our members, I should say, while we have just come out of the Versus War and the server war, Shirk is usually about 150 million. I'm about 150 million. System Mama sits about 110 million. You have 3 of the strongest people in here, and we are being told that we need to ask permission, essentially, or get a consensus of what we're going to do to go get land. This is being told to us by people who probably have some money into this, but we've put on demonstrations to show, like, different power, different other things that are there. And that becomes really, really, really frustrating when you have put this money in, you've put the effort in, because we actually do go study the game and we want to win. And we are being told that, no, you need to have a consensus by an arbitrary 3 alliances or 4 alliances to be able to do this. This is where some of your servers start to fall apart, because I get hate mail all the time. You're ruining the server, you're doing this. And that's because I went and started my own alliance, because a couple of us just got to a point of frustration where we were putting so much money into winning or getting high up into the arenas. And when you do that, one of your rewards, it goes to the entire alliance. So Shirk and I used to finish 2nd and 3rd in these arenas. Now we're finishing 3rd and 4th because I'm the one who can't keep up. And so every week or every other week, the entire alliance would get an extra, between the 2 of us, they would get an extra 220 tactical master boxes, an extra 1,250 valor, all of these things. And yet we never even received like a thank you or a good job. People just thought that they automatically received these. And while you don't need a pat on your head or you don't need to be told all the time how great you are, it would be great if people understood where their opportunities or where these things are coming from. They're coming from people who are putting in money, who are putting in effort to be able to do this. And it's really just taken for granted, because if you take a look at this, if you try to buy 1,000 Valor and you're just doing this with cash, 1,000 Valor, if you go to the weekly pass, a weekly deal, and you're trying to buy 1,000 Valor, now mind you, you get all these things, but it's about $100. And yes, you do get, more about behind it, but we're giving an alliance like $100 worth of items, if not more, because those tactical boxes are worth a ton, and nobody thinks anything of it. They just, sometimes they get mad because you didn't carry far enough, or you weren't out there long enough, or you weren't doing these things. So yesterday we had an alliance war, and again, I understand people getting frustrated or things like that, but our goal was to carry the corner, carry one of the cannons. And we did that. Okay. We stood out there and we did our thing. People were dropping out, the entire, I'm out of troops. I'm this. And it could take 10, 15 minutes or anything like that. And Shirk and I stayed out there for over an hour. To be able to do that, I started this with 36,000 troops. Okay. I had 36,225 troops out there. I ran out of troops about 4 different times because I didn't move. I just stayed posted. I took the beatings from 1148. And so I went from 512,000 diamonds yesterday down to 252,000. All right. So to be able to stand out there for 1 hour while other people were kaput, other people were just sitting back, other people were whatever, and they were complaining. And I'm out there putting out those diamonds so that we don't look like a joke, in front of a really powerful server. You can understand my frustration when I am then met the next day and being told like, hey, you need to get permission, or you need to ask permission if you think you're going to go for these lands or do what you're going to do. And so you can see why people start to pull away, because you have a couple of options when you're in our seat. You can try and be like good sports and just be like, hey man, we just want to take one land. This is where we're going to go. This is where we're at. And I have always done my best not to poach anybody, not to pull anybody over. Like, we have rejected, over 50 or 60, probably 60 different applications we've rejected. Okay. I've only accepted 6 people in here. And those 6 people are not, like your most powerful anything coming in. Our 6 people that you'll get, when these guys came in, they were at the 24s and 25s. And since they've been here for a couple of weeks and we've been working with them, they're 28s, 29s. One of them, Envy's getting ready to pop his 29. And they keep moving up and they keep listening and they keep working. But this is just based on them putting in the effort. You'll see now why I also get frustrated is to keep the numbers of my alliance up. I run 4, 5 different accounts in here. All right. And I also do this just so I can see what it's like for somebody who is free to play and see what my expectations should be of them. So a couple of them I have some money in, but anytime that you see something that has like a Shaw in it, like a Brickashaw, a Shawshank, a Bradshaw, a Bradshaw, a Bradshaw, a Bradshaw, those are just separate phones sitting out or iPads sitting out that are on there. And there are a couple of that are at different stages of free to play or putting money in. And again, it's so I can see and understand, like, from the mind of a free to play player, where they should be at one time. So in 1 month of free to play, I am at level 22. All right. Actually, really, at 1 month of free to play, I am at level 21. These 2, I have some money in. This one, Brother Bradshaw, I have about $200 in, $250, because I wanted to buy the mushroom and see what the mushroom really does. And then this guy, I've got about $50 in. And that's because I wanted to buy an egg and throw an egg out. But they are, after that, they're generally free to play and see where you're going. And that's after only 1 month. Our server is 4 months old, and there are some people that have been here for a couple of months that are barely at 20. and they're still yelling at us, about we need to go and take care of certain alliances or things like that. Because many of these alliances, what they don't realize is not everybody loves them. I will get offers all the time. Can I go and ash this alliance? Can I go and take care of these guys? These guys are so mean. They never listen to us. They never do anything. And I've stayed out of it this whole time and taken criticism that I don't get active enough. So it's one of those things where do you want the line to be? Do you want the line to be where we sit off to the side and we do our thing and we just try to take as little as possible? We take one of the three, season 1 lands, and I believe we can defend it against anybody. Or do you want to say, hey, get out of the corner and you need to be more active? Well, I can promise you we're not going to merge with anybody. So if we're going to become more active, then that is going to cause us to then open up the recruitment lines and bring everybody in. And I will just start picking the people that I want here. Because if I go to most of these top 3, top 4 servers and say, hey, man, I've got a spot open for you, let's go, I would imagine at least 2 out of 5 are going to come over because they like what we're doing. They like having the power. They like seeing what we are. And if we sold this, that's where we're at. And that was never my goal in entering this, but where's the line? And that's where this game will start to draw you to, is it starts making you question, like, where do you want to be in this game? Is this game just something for fun? Here you go. Is this game something that you want to win at? And where is the line that you draw where it can be fun, but you also then don't rip an entire server apart? Because I keep hearing from some of these alliances, well, you're bad for the server. You're ruining the server. Well, before I got here, everything was established and it hasn't been that successful so far, and the other thing that I just don't think that people realize is that when you're saying, hey, you need to do what's best for the server, what's best for the server is that everybody is powerful. The only way for everybody to truly be powerful in this game is if you spend money. So unless you are spending money, don't tell me that I am not doing what's good for the server or not making the server stronger. That is the nature of this game, is that you either spend money and get strong, or you don't spend money and you hopefully surround yourself with enough people and stay coordinated that you guys can really make some noise. Otherwise, you're just stuck. Now, when I told you to take a look at those VIP numbers or take a look at that spending, there are some people that blow justice out of the water. There's a gentleman by the name of Bevan65, all right? And he buys 3 trains a day, okay? And because he sees the value in it. His goal is to hit VIP 18, and I know he'll do it. And he's one of the nicest guys in the world. You will never meet somebody nicer than this guy. But he will buy now 3 trains a day, and now that the new update is here, he gives the trains out to his alliance. It's crazy. And then he rides as defender. And it's so that he can build up participation, because he can't even get people to participate in the fullest on his server unless he is essentially paying for them to get there or to get up there. I don't know how long he can make that work or make that last. I hope he can continue, because, when he came over here and just absolutely rolled us, he was really nice about rolling us, but he rolled us. And when you have other people that are in here like Unhi, when you take a look at, and we took a look at Justice's numbers, Unhi has a 33, 33, 28 at this time and place. This is before Lion Cub has even come out. So we are day 90, 96. I think they're day 98. So maybe their Lion Cub comes out tomorrow. But these kind of numbers aren't even seen in most people that are in season 3. And he's still in preseason, and this is what he's rolling. So don't be surprised if he has, well over 100,000 into his account. And he can't be touched. He is strong. It's tough to get through on him. And then you get people like Face Puncher who have just recently made these jumps. None of these jumps are cheap. And each one of these, and I'm not going to say these two because I can't say these two, but I have talked to other like legitimate whales and other servers, And they all go through moments that they want to quit. They just want to walk away. And the reason they want to walk away is that they are just so frustrated either by the lack of participation, in their server, or they're frustrated that, people will complain about a whale, and then when something goes wrong, well, why didn't the whales bail us out? Well, where are you? Why don't you take care of these problems? Again, I am not a whale by any means. Okay, I always say that I am a minnow, but I get, and it's not as bad as it was, but 2 weeks ago and any time before then, I would get 2 to 3 DMs a day that just ask to go wipe out an alliance because they feel like they're being bullied, or they feel like they're being picked on, or they believe that somebody has done something racially against them or said something against them. So they want them wiped out. And I always, you want to go help, but number one, you don't know both sides of the story. But at the same time, if it's that important to them, they can also go spend the same money that I do. They can make the same sacrifices as I make to be able to play this game. Okay, I don't go do extracurricular things. This is where my money comes into. I have a crappy car. I have just basic everything else in my life. And for whatever reason, this is where my draw is. So when these things come in and when you build a game around this, it is incredibly hard to stay together or to keep things together. And so that is why, again, when I talk about Zion or like what we're building, I have a very, very small number of players that are surrounding me. And the reason that these people are here is they are some of the most positive people in the world. And I actually have had just recently a couple people coming in from other servers that like what we're doing. And they understand they're not going to be in a leadership role. They understand that they're not going to be anything else, but they just want to be around the positivity that's in here. People outside of this alliance will not see that as positivity. They see it as, being reclusive, being a jerk, being a dictator, being whatever. But that's because they don't want to make the sacrifices to be a part of this. And so how would you categorize that? Is that an idea of entitlement, that they feel like they deserve everything that everybody else does? Or, is that just the bad programming or idea or nature of the game, that they are playing a pay to win game, but they don't want to pay, but they still want to win? Then there's the other way to look at it. Is this just what's wrong with people in general? That the people that have don't want to share, or they don't feel like others will step up when they can? Because again, we don't know everybody's situation. And that's something I can absolutely get behind, is that we always don't know what other people are going through or what they can do or what they can't do. So should we be able to help them? Should we be like a Bevins and buy a train or buy 2 trains every single day and give them away? Let them out there. Should we have been sending rockets to everybody? Does that make a server stronger? Or are you just spending money and giving it away to people that may quit anyway? So it's really interesting. This game gives you more to think about than just the gameplay. It really, really delves into human nature and where you're at, and it's kind of a microcosm of the thing we go through. So just to finish up, because this is already way too long and I just sound like a dummy or a baby, whatever. And for us, in Zion, we each have roles. So even if you are somebody who doesn't spend, then you are somebody who is out there working for the betterment of Zion. Like, we'll have one of our 25s, all he does is scout. His whole job is to scout. Go find stashes in other servers and send them back. We have another who will go and just look for lunchboxes. That is abandoned bases or bases that have no alliances, that have a ton of resources, and they'll do lunchbox runs for people. We have others that just save up their stamina for the zombie days, and they'll go out and look for the bosses and let us knock them off, and everybody wins and benefits. There's something that can be had or benefited from every single person in your alliance, in your squad, and in the server. A lot of people will just look at top 3 alliances and say nobody else matters. But on our server, something that you're going to see that is incredibly impressive is actually our number 6 server, NEWE. These people here have spent so much time creating the best guide I have ever seen for new players and for verses that is so easy to follow and function. It is in 4 different languages. It's absolutely incredible. But it feels like they are ignored on every other stand. I would argue that they've done more for this server in just putting those guides out than all of the rest of us combined. But they are not listened to. They are not anything. So when, again, people say, well, let's do what's best for the server, you need to do this for what's best for the server, none of those alliances are putting out guides. None of those alliances are sharing, information that they have that they've learned. It's not happening. But a number 6 alliance in new here are not only putting those out, they're putting them out in 4 different languages. They are starting a YouTube channel in English and Portuguese. They are really just the standard of what it looks like to be all in on a server and be friendly and be giving, but also just to be absolutely ignored. And it's really a shame. It's absolutely a shame because these are really good people. I can't say all of them are. I only know 2 of them. And I've worked with them extensively to check out their guide and see what they've had. I had no input on the guide. I just thought it was incredible and hosted it for them. And Little Out of Line is who is putting their video stuff together. But if you want to say like, oh, what's good for the server, do good for the server. These guys are good for the server. These guys are awesome. These guys are putting out, guides and everything else. They are not deciding how to split up lands based on arbitrary power numbers. So it's a ridiculous idea and ridiculous notion. So what is the answer? I would tell you to put it in the comments, but I don't have the comments on because I have kids that look at these videos. I have young people that look at the videos, and many times those comments just go absolutely sideways. So I've avoided that. I mean, this is never going to be monetized anyway. This is just something that I put out there that I know some people actually really enjoy. Not everybody, but I do know that some people do. And so I guess it's just something to think about and something you talk to your own alliance about, is to really answer the question, like, how do you make your server better? What are you doing to make your server better? Especially if you're somebody that complains about your server, or if you're somebody that complains about not getting enough, or you complain about other alliances in your server or other people, like, be introspective in it. Like, take a real look. Like, what do you do to make your server better? What gives you, that idea? I believe I have a list of what we do, and we're proud of it. We really try to do our best. We are trying to educate those that want to listen, and I don't know. It's just something to think about. So the long story, or the long end of this, I wanted to get this out because I have, as the leader of Zion, I've actually had to delegate now, as of today, my members to go out and talk to our in-server alliances for me, because I have gotten to a point of being so short-tempered and not being a good listener because of the amount of requests I get each day, or the amount of negativity that I'll hear, or even I'll get some positivity and then 3 of their members from that same alliance will then DM me about how horrible of a person I am, or say some other things. I'm just like, you know what, man, I can't deal with it. And so even as a leader, I am putting myself more in charge of the outside alliances, outside server alliances. But I've had to now, just for my own sake, or for the sake of Zion, really, I've had to put people in charge of going out and being my voice, or being the voice of Zion for our in-server alliances, because for me, it's gotten to that point. I am usually not quick to anger or not quick to temper, but I find myself becoming the ultimate dummy keyboard warrior stupidity just out of reaction from things that I'm getting or hearing lately. And that's not who I am normally. If we were in person, that would never, ever be my reaction. But because we are online and this is where we're at, and again, because we are so far away from an equal playing ground or an equal opportunity ground, that it doesn't allow those types of conversations to happen. And so even when you want to call a meeting or somebody calls a meeting and there's 8 people in there, they're going to be looking out for their own betterment. They're going to be looking out for the betterment of their alliances, and they should be. But it's not going to be something that's even or equal, because there's not something that's built into this game to make anything even or equal except for a credit card. If you throw a credit card spirit bomb down, you are going to beat everybody. Nothing to do about it. And so it's just, it's I can't say it's a basic flaw of the game, because it's how the game is designed. It's a basic flaw of human nature, though, to either expect to be treated equally for not equal effort, or it's also a human nature flaw to feel like you deserve everything because you may have had better life or better experience than other people, so you have that opportunity that they don't have. I guess moral philosophical questions, wherever those may go, but this is just the long and the short story of it. I wanted to put this in here because I've gotten, even as of today, I have 3 people that say they're going to quit. 2 of them want to sell their account. They're like asking how to do it. One of them just wanted to say goodbye. And it's sad because 2 of the people are just really awesome people. The other one I didn't even know that well, but they just wanted to put it out there. And that just keeps going on in this game. And so I don't know what the solution is to keep people around. I know people get their feelings hurt. I know that when money is involved in anything, you're in some trouble. But the only thing I can do, I know for my alliance, is I try to be transparent with the server. I let them know what our desire is, like what our goals are. And I think it's fair that when you go into season 1, if you don't agree with that, then you can talk with us about it. And if you still don't agree with it, then that is what Last War is about. I guess you just kind of rock, paper, scissors it and let's go. And we see, does diplomacy work? Does power work? Does a rise and upheaval, a revolution work? And if somebody's going to say that somebody else is ripping the server apart, one person shouldn't be able to rip a server apart. If you have a good server and you have a good system, you should be okay. So I think it's real. Again, I think it's fun. I think it's really exciting. I know some people get really hurt over it. I get my feelings hurt. And like I said, I am so quick to anger right now that I've had to remove myself from typing to people now, to the point that I now have to send out delegates, which I never thought I'd get to, but here I am. And so good job, Last War. You have raised the philosophical bar for me in what we're doing. I'm just putting this one out there because it's daylight savings time, so we have an extra hour, so I'm totally thrown off my schedule. And my other 2 videos are on my laptop, and I don't have my laptop. So I just needed something to post for right now before we finish up the 3v3 for the week and go from there. I hope this works out for some of you. I know some of you feel the same frustration. I know some people from 1146 are going to watch this and hate me even more. And that's cool, man. That's just where we're at. I'm trying to play a game that I've paid money for, play it in my own way, and surround myself with people I really enjoy. And that's where I'm at right now. So I hope that you guys can find some joy and some peace in this game. And if you can't, there are a million other games to play. All right. Thanks, Commanders. Until next time.